see where
it's on the other side. Right there, you see it?
Yeah.
Whoa. Completely inappropriate. Uncalled for. Unnecessary.
Called for.
Good?
Is that all right?
Yeah, we're good.
Well, we're always good. So what we're doing is we're doing a step-by-step, stage-by-stage makeover of one of the most popular current Harley models, FXLRST. This one's a 2024. Yeah, the 2025s are out, and they made a few little changes to them, but there's a lot of these bikes out on the street. So we thought it would be cool to do kind of a series of a complete makeover of one of these bikes and show people what can be done with their stock bike. And again, they're very, very popular. See, they modeled this bike with, it doesn't have the bags on it right now, but with the fairing, they modeled it after an FXRT, which was one of the greatest motorcycles Harley-Davidson ever made. So they came up with a modernized version of it. They came up with a new fairing. And they're, like you said, they're selling them like crazy. So we got one, and we're gonna do just a bunch of stuff with all the companies that we use, like Fueling Parts, LePera seats, Legend suspension, Bassani pipe, NAMs. We're gonna use some Thrashing stuff, a lot of Paul Yaffe original stuff. Gonna completely make the bike over and make it kind of a full custom. You know, the way they come, they just come it's kind of plain, you know. So this right here is where we turn it into, you know, we get all the horsepower out of it. We get everything we can get out of the motor. Nothing changes the look of a bike like a set of wheels. We've already done that. I had gotten these wheels from Paul Yaffe. These are aftermarket SMT wheels. I love them. Handlebars are not very comfortable. The gauge is cool. I took the exhaust off in order to get the rear wheel on correctly. So instead of putting the stock exhaust back on, which would have been kind of dumb, we're just gonna go ahead and go right into the exhaust. So we've got the exhaust prepped, we've got it over here. We did all the things that we needed to do by changing out the retaining rings and the flanges, put the O2 sensors in with the adapters. Heat shields are over here. This is the head pipe, collectors down here. This one's stainless steel, which is just absolutely bitchin'. Stainless steel is the cool stuff. I like it. I don't know. I just think it screams racy. It screams performance. Obviously, stainless steel is a little more lighter weight than, you know, some of the other stuff out there. So, yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. It's go fast shit, you know. But made by a company out of California called Bassani. Daryl Bassani was a friend of mine. He's no longer with us, but the guy, you know, kind of an expert when it comes to performance exhaust for cars and trucks and motorcycles and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. Stainless steel looks so good against the black, but not against the chrome. That chrome's gotta go away. When the exhaust is put on correctly, you should be able to lift up the motorcycle from the exhaust. EEA beautiful. Now we gotta plug everything in. What is that? Metric? It sure is. Son of a bitch. Get that off, next guy. I am very happy with the exhaust. Look how gorgeous that is. I mean, the stainless steel. We're gonna get rid of this chrome anyway, but it looks light, racy, sounds good. We've already fired it up. whenever you do exhaust, it's always a good idea to do a tune of some kind. We decided that for this, we were going to go with the PowerVision 4, which is kind of neat. It's just this little module right here. If you want to come around, check out this little module. Right now, we're just trying to find a place to put it, like where to keep it so it's out of the way and the seat and everything can still fit on, because there's just not a lot of room on these Softails. So we're going to figure out where we're going to put it and secure it so it stays, but it Bluetooths to your phone. So this is kind of cool. This little module, so you turn it on, see it lights up, starts doing all that crazy flashing. Get your phone out. Here it is. So it's connecting. And then what we do is we actually choose from their library of tunes and we pick the one. We pick the one that best matches what we have. So right now we have a stock motor, 117 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 with the stock air cleaner and the full 2-in-1 exhaust. So any minute this daggone thing's gonna connect. Okay, it's connected. So it's got your VIN on here. There's all kinds of things neat you can do with this app, but we just picked the tune, we flash the ECM, shut it off so it would reset. We can do live data and put gauges on our phone so we can see things that we can't normally see from the speedometer, like we can do engine temperature, manifold absolute pressure, things like that. We can use this to auto tune, but you know, because their maps are probably, I think their maps are built in Las Vegas, so they're at sea level, where you know we're at much higher than sea level here. So the air's thinner, so they might not be ideal. So we can run an auto tune session with either the stock O2 sensors or with an auto tune or target tune module. But that's really it. It's kind of like I said, a package deal. And the days that didn't have a high flow air cleaner, like we're changing this one out, but in the days where the bikes had, you know, this complete plastic backing plate and it was all, you know, blocked off, didn't get any air in it, it was always a package. You do the exhaust, the air cleaner, and either you rejet the carburetor or you put a tuner of some kind on it. That's just the way to do it. You know, some people will tell you, like with the big bikes, you can put slip-ons on it and the, you know, the fuel injection will adjust. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think that you should always put it as a package, put it together, put it on the bike as a package, meaning you should always have the ECM reflashed or redo the carburetor when you put the exhaust of any kind on, and you want it to exhale better, you want it to inhale better. So this bike is going to get a fueling BA, stands for badass, air cleaner from Fueling Parts. And the neat thing about this is we're going to be able to see how this thing grows, you know, like in stages. So we'll be able to show you, we've already got the dyno graphs for what it was stock. Now we'll see what these little improvements do, the 2-in-1 exhaust and the PowerVision 4. And then from there, we're going to drop a cam in it. Well, we'll probably do the air cleaner next, and then we'll drop a cam in it. And after the cam, we'll do a big bore kit, then we'll do heads. You'll be able to see over time, you know, what money you spend on the bike, what kind of horsepower you get out of it. Not to mention all the other cool stuff we're going to do with this thing from a style and handling and performance standpoint. So it's going to be pretty cool when it's done. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Kind of roll it out at the bike show next spring where everybody can kind of see how we do a Low Rider ST over here. You know what I mean? So now we just got to, we're going to do a couple other little upgrades that you want to follow along with. We're going to put a LePera 2-up seat, bitchin' badass 2-up LePera seat. And then we're going to change out the windshield for a KlockWerks windshield that will actually direct the wind instead of making it just go any which direction. So we'll do that, get this thing secured. We're going to take it for a ride, see how it feels. And then once we've got the tires worn in, we're going to roll up on the dyno and see what kind of numbers it does. seat right there. Instead of the plastic bottom, it's got a steel base, carpeting on the bottom. Yeah, this is a real seat. Makes all the difference in the world between long rides and not. Night and day. That's way better. When you're talking about ergonomics on your bike, you always want to do the seat first. So you get your handlebars all set up exactly the way you like them and everything. Then you change your seat. You end up sitting down more in the bike or something. Then, I don't like that. Here's one for the. I want to try it out. Oh yeah. It's way more comfortable than the stock seat. I feel like you're sitting more in the bike than on the bike. And then for our last little goodie, this is the KlockWerks Flare 6-inch dark smoke flare windshield for the Low Rider ST. And you might be like, what's the big deal? It doesn't look any different. Brian discovered this by accident. Brian Klock, Mitchell, South Dakota, KlockWerks. They were racing a road glide on the salt flats, and they were trying to figure out how they could keep the bike more stable. So they invented this. So well, let's start with the simplest thing first, which is a windshield. So they invented this prototype windshield, and most windshields are like billboards, right? I'd hate to be Brian's kids on Christmas, unpacking. But the windshields are just a flat piece of Lexan or whatever. This is a specially designed windshield. Okay. It has what he calls hips right here, and then it has a lip. Okay. And this lip actually creates 15 pounds of downforce pressure on the front end. And it's what he calls clean wind. So you ride this one, which is, as you can tell, it's just flat. You ever heard the expression, a cow pissing on a flat rock? Cow pisses on a flat rock and just goes everywhere. That's what happens to the air when it hits this windshield. It just goes any which way. You're riding with glasses on, you're like this, all over the place. But this actually directs the wind. What he calls clean wind. So it's more directional. So when the air hits it, it has a channel to go when water flows down a stream. Make sense? You're on a motorcycle, you still get wind. If you don't want any wind, drive your truck. But with this, and I'm not a very tall guy, can't be good looking and tall. So that's why I elected to start with the 6-inch. The most common one is an 8-inch, but we'll probably end up trying out all of them because we have a 6-inch, we have a 8-inch, we have a 12-inch. We'll try them all out just to see what we prefer. These are pretty simple to put on and off. So one Torx bit. I'm just gonna loosen this up. There's probably some instructions in that box I should be reading. We'll get there. Bye-bye, stock. Bye-bye. And look at that. Just insert the grommets into the new flare. What are you using, ShineWorks?
You want me to use ShineWorks?
Of course you gotta use ShineWorks. We're doing a KlockWerks video here.
ShineWorks.
It is a pretty good product, I'm gonna say. Boom. Grommets installed. Nice. Gotta put it on. That's such a nice fit. It's like a glove.
I told him about your gloves.
Gloves.
Oh yeah,
Gloves.
gloves.
Yeah, go ahead and throw on a pair of Jason's gloves.
I heard.
I can wear my gloves.
We actually tried them all on yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, Tyler went and grabbed one of my gloves, sets of gloves one time, wore them all day, ripped holes in them, sweated, secreted, whatever nasty bodily fluids. You think I'm gonna fucking put those things back on my hands?
You secreted.
Yeah, my hat. You wear my hat? It's yours.
It's yours.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Yep.
That's
Wear his
just
hat.
gross,
It's yours.
man.
I get the hat thing, I don't get the glove thing.
The glove, look at your nasty hands. Look at how nasty
All the
they are.
same stuff you be touching all day.
I know, but I'm just saying. That's my touch. The things that secrete out of your hands, there's like bugs that live underneath your fingernails and stuff.
You too.
Hey,
You have
I know, but they're my bugs. Okay. How about this? Click. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's sharp.
That is, yeah.
It's really sharp.
What the question is going to be how it functions. That's the deal. All right, so safety first, tire pressure, and we're out of here. Took it out for a ride, and I love the sound of the exhaust. Absolutely love that. I just love that purr. You know, a lot of people love having having music on their motorcycle. Me personally, the exhaust pipe is the music, so I love the sound of that. It performed really well. It's very snappy. It's crisp, but it wasn't all that I was expecting, to be completely honest. We came back in after the ride, and I will say this, just like before when it had stock, engine or stock exhaust on it, the handling of this bike is leaving something to be desired. Going into corners is not at all what you thought you would feel. It just doesn't have the handling that I was hoping for. Well, that's what's next for us to fix anyway, is we've got Legend suspension, front axo, Revo rear. I believe that is going to completely change the handling of this bike and make it so that it's what I want it to be when I'm going into a corner, maybe, you know, a little bit too hot. But after the ride, we got up on the dyno, strapped it down, and ran it. And the results were lackluster, I would say. We went from 92 horsepower to 93 horsepower, and then from 110 foot-pounds of torque to 116 foot-pounds of torque. So we didn't see significant performance increases at all, really. The air fuel's much better than what it is stock. I mean, it feels good. It's got a great air fuel ratio. It likes it, but we need more. We definitely need more. It's not what I was hoping for, but that's okay, because we got the ability and the skills and the parts to make it what I want it to be, with our next thing being the BA air cleaner from fueling, and then we go into a cam, and then we're gonna go big bore, and then we're just gonna get kind of crazy with it. So stay tuned, it will get there. Like and subscribe if you know what's good for you.